The literal worst timing ever. I've just gone to start recording this video and the sun is like reflecting in the worst possible way. Look at this. What is this? What is going on? Honestly, that's much better. We love darkness. Darkness when discussing Sorare because of the darkness in my soul for all the money I've lost. Before we get to this video, I just want to quickly say I'm going to start a new series on this channel where I review your galleries. If you want to get involved, make sure you're following me. Go to It's Haber Sorare on Twitter and reply to this tweet with your gallery. I'll be posting a video on this on Sunday, so make sure you guys get involved. So my friend John Nellis had a really fun idea for a video the other day and he uploaded it saying how much I made this season on Sorare. Basically going through all of his rewards for the year, calculating how much he made and sort of bringing an estimate and showing you guys sort of how he did. Now, me being an ethical, respectable content creator that I am, with integrity, I thought I'd just steal it. Yeah, I thought I'd just steal the idea and upload it myself because I can. So I'm going to do that. This season has felt so much longer than normal. I think it's because the World Cup in the middle of the season kind of felt like it split the season up, but it doesn't feel like sort of a year ago when I really started investing properly into Sorare, but it is roughly around then. I pretty much started off last European season by buying a Champion Europe rare team. I actually bought it a lot cheaper than what I could have sold it for, and I'll sort of go through that. This is what the team looked like. It was Neuer, Hernandez, Nkunku, Kimmich, and Neymar. Really, really solid team. The Nkunku midfielder card was not necessarily amazing though. The forward card definitely would have been a lot better for the scores. But I picked this card up, for example, for £3,300 and I actually sold it for £4,500 2 months later. Now, the only downside with that is I could have got double that nearly. I could have sold it for about £6,000 or £7,000. But I sold it because the new season card was coming out and I didn't want to get less money for it. And to be honest, I sold it at a great time because, like, yeah, he crashed and burned. I mean, he sells for £500 now, so I did pretty well there, I can't lie. Similarly with Neuer, I mean, I bought Neuer for 3,200. I could have got about £4,000 for him. I did this with a lot of players, actually. Neymar was similar. I think I didn't actually buy Neymar. I traded Lewandowski for him. It was about a £4,000 card at the time, roughly around sort of this mark. And he went up to £10,000 and again, didn't cash out on him. I do regret that partially. It's one of my only Sorare regrets is when I actually bought this team, I paid around £25,000 for this entire team. And I, at one point, could have sold it for nearly 40 grand and didn't, thinking I would make more than that over the year on SO5. Little did I know that Sorare prices were going to crash pretty much within a few months after. Yeah, one of my biggest regrets. But that being said, let's have a look how we did actually over the year. Now, a lot of things changed over the year. A lot of my lineups changed. I used to focus on basically having one or two good lineups. So what I kind of had, I remember this game week very vividly because this game week I had 3 errors led to goals from all 3 of my keepers. But my sort of plan was having a strong team in each division. I don't know why this is bugged like this, by the way, but having a strong team in Champion Europe, All-Star and Under-23. So it was this Champion Europe team. Then Under-23 was Upamecano, Solé, Enzo Fernandez, and Carranza. Again, a team that could have done really, really well for me this week. I could have actually, if I didn't have the error led to goal and kept the clean sheet on Sasaki and Carranza had scored, yeah, it could have been a different story for me in that week. And then All-Star Rare, it was Johnson and Gadju, who was at Ghent at the time and scoring really well. Gil, Mukhtar, and Vela. Again, like, this wasn't an awful performance, but it was just Ngadju and Sean Johnson performing horrifically. And then I had an All-Star Rare Pro Team, which is actually just like my depth at the time. Cecchini was heavily injured. And Champion Europe Limited, I'd built an AZ Alkmaar stack, which I actually made quite a bit of profit on anyway. And then I don't even know what the rest of these lineups were. But that was kind of what I used to focus on. I didn't really have a strategy. It was kind of just buy the best cards that I could afford and put them out. So it was like, okay, I'm going to get buying Neuer and Hernandez. They were like fantastic. And then Nkunku was like the best Champion Europe mid at the time, bar Kimmich, who I already had. Then Neymar. So yeah, that's kind of how we started off. So in this game week, this is the first game week of the Champion Europe season. This game week was game week 294. We won a tier 3. So we're going to go down in a second and have a look at that. Now, in terms of the actual numbers, I'll break you down the numbers now, actually, if you want. So in terms of the actual numbers, across the last year, from a year ago to now, we won 90 rewards, which is crazy to me. We won 90 rewards. I didn't think it was that many. So going from game week 292 onwards, we won 90 rewards. It's actually nuts to me to have a look at what my rewards looked like before this, because I wasn't good at I'm not good at Sorare now, but I was horrific back in the day, to the point where, like, this is what my rewards page looked like before. It was like my best reward was Musa Dembele at the time, or maybe like where is he, Reece Nelson, who actually sold for a lot at the time, to be fair. Yeah, it was crazy to think about it. And then I actually kind of realized how to play Sorare a bit better. So the 90 rewards, we won 4.1 Ethereum in liquid ETH. So in terms of my stats at the moment, my stats are as follows: 4.29 in ETH earnings, 109 rewards, and 10.28 ETH in total rewards. Current valuation, 2.13 ETH in rewards kept. The total amount of money, what I did was, I did it how John did it. So I looked at every individual card and I calculated either how much I sold the card for, or their last sale price if I kept them. So their current last sale price. The total amount we actually won, this is staggering to me. I did not realize how much we'd won. We won £21,706. I don't know what that is in Ethereum. I guess I could check. That is nearly 15 ETH, which goes to show how much ETH has kind of dropped in value. The fact that it's only worth 10 ETH now. How much cards have dropped in value, sorry. Because a lot of these cards I would have sold very quickly and maybe reinvested the funds in other places. Now, I will say there are a couple of, like, I got 3 first places in the last year. I'd never podiumed or anything like that before. My best card before was a tier 2. So yeah, we had 3, actually 5 podiums technically, because we got podium in Cap 240 and also a recent podium. I'm including some of the summer as well. So yeah, that's how much year to date so far, from a year ago to today. Nearly £22,000. It sounds crazy to me. Obviously, I pretty much reinvested all of that into Sorare and bought different players that have dramatically come down in value. My gallery valuation is around £42,000 at the moment. Now, that is just because I have definitely made some terrible buys. I've made some good buys as well, but I've definitely made some stinker buys. I've definitely lost money here and there as well. But I thought we'd kind of look at some of the interesting game weeks. So my best reward for the entire year, undoubtedly, was Joshua Kimmich. Now, this card I ended up trading away to Castelleo FC. Now, I got a total of 2.427 ETH, which at the time was worth £3,590 for Quinones and Kimmich. Kimmich made up about 3,200 of that, roughly. So by far my most expensive reward at £3,200. Crazy. Still to this day, just an insane reward. Like, love it. Absolutely love the fact that I won a Kimmich, right? Now, that was in game week 361. So if we want to have a look at the lineup for game week 361, I still remember this lineup. It was insanely lucky. This win was ridiculously lucky because at the time, in fact, I probably could go and show you guys. I think I actually could. If I go to leaderboard, you can go to previous game weeks, right? So it's going to take me a while, but if I go to 361, which is the game week we won Kimmich, you guys will see what I'm talking about. It was insanely lucky. All-Star Rare Pro. Here we go. So Kraken this game week came second, and he was only 5 points away. Now, he was 5 points away from me. He had Salah still playing at the time. I want to show you guys how lucky this is. If you remember this Liverpool versus Arsenal game, right? Mohamed Salah scored a goal, got negative 3.5 AA. Now, Salah missed a penalty kick, 2 big chances, and created a big chance that Darwin Nunez did not score. Had Salah have got the second decisive, I would have come second. I don't know what the reward would have been, but I would have come second. But because Salah dropped what I would call an absolute stinker in regards to he could have had a 100-point game very easily and didn't, we won. Like, that's where I say, like, Sorare requires a lot of luck, and it's in these kind of scenarios where Sorare requires a lot of luck. Absolutely crazy though, absolutely nuts. So that was a crazy game week. Wasn't my first win though. My first win actually came in game week 345, which was again another crazy game week. So I actually have PSU fans to thank for my first ever win in Challenger Europe Rare Pro. Now I was going to play the 20 stack regardless, have a fantastic matchup, but the reason why I've got PSU fans to thank here is because I was going to put a terrible under 23 Rare Pro team together with Veerman and Jesper Karlsson in the team, right? And it was going to look something like this. Now, they were at home to Antwerp, but the matchup wasn't great. It was going to look something like Van der Voort, Cuesta, McKenzie, Veerman, and what's his name again? Oh my god, Jesper Karlsson. Now, Jesper Karlsson and Veerman both had phenomenal matchups, and PSU fans basically told me, play them in Challenger Europe with your 20 stack, because they are going to smash and gank on, essentially. So I did. And lo and behold, we did in fact podium, which was absolutely nuts. We didn't just podium, we won. Robin Proper with 2 assists somehow. I don't even. Yeah, absolutely nuts. Just like, yeah, crazy. The crazy part was actually, Carlson was a Friday night game and Veerman was a Saturday game, and then 20 played on Sunday. So I had the 100 points from Veerman and 95 points from Jesper Karlsson locked in before the 20 game. So I wasn't guaranteed anything, but in my head I was like, I'm pretty much getting a tier 1 or higher, right? If 20 keep the clean sheet, I'm probably podiuming. So I was very confident anyway. But then I was out of football and I got notifications on my phone saying Proper got 100 points. It's like, oh my word, I'd won the division. It wasn't even close, I'm pretty sure. The next place was 26 points away from me. So we actually won from this game week. 0.4 ETH and Dusan Tadic, who I still have. I'm really excited as well because this card has done well for me. It's not been ridiculous, but it's done really well for me. It's so far netted me back 0.139 ETH in just Ethereum and 0.632 Ethereum in card rewards. We have won Ruta, Marlon, Kimmich, Erthalter, and Strefeza. I used a reward to win Kimmich, which is crazy. So yeah, absolutely nuts. Really happy with that. Really happy with that, to be honest. This Tadic was an amazing win and helped me massively. And I also had a Tadic in my gallery at the time. So I just sold my current Tadic and used this one. It's really funny though, because going through these, I don't remember a lot of these rewards. I don't remember winning a lot of them. I do remember when my Champion Europe team first worked. I do remember that. So that was game week. I won a Lopez, so I'm going to see when Lopez was won, and that's how we know what game week it was. It was when everything started to kind of work. So game week 296 is when we got our first big reward. Now, funnily enough, frustratingly enough, this was one of those where we came 8th. We came 34 points away from winning the division, and someone's car alarm's going off. Yeah, this was a mad game week. We got 72 points from Neuer, which honestly is a really good score for Neuer. In a game like this, because I wasn't expecting Wolfsburg to have so many shots. So I was really happy that Neuer actually got a 76 pointer or 78.6 pointer after the bonus. Hernandez let me down massively. He let me down massively. He let me down massively. I was gutted because I actually had Makana before, who I believe in this game actually scored a little bit better, not much better. I thought he scored a lot better for some reason. But yeah, the sad thing was we got let down by Nkunku, who would have got an extra 15 points, which would have put us into the podium had he have just scored his big chance that he missed, which is frustrating. 100 points from Kimmich and 100 points from Neymar was fantastic anyway. Really happy with that. But it was the first time it really started working well, and we won ourselves a Lopez. Before then, we'd won a Rabiot as a tier 2 in All-Star Rare, but it wasn't really anything to shout home about. And then our next reward from that team was in game week 298, which is literally the week after, I believe. The frustrating part about this, by the way, and this was what's annoying, and it's why you should always trust your gut, I feel like. So the game week before this in 296, I almost bought Theo Hernandez for this lineup, and I didn't buy Theo Hernandez. And I don't know if he shows up on here. I don't know if I've got his comment or not. But this game week, in game week 296, Theo dropped like a 90-something pointer, and I didn't buy him for this game week, and I was really frustrated. I basically would have won the division had I have bought Theo Hernandez to replace Lucas Hernandez, and I didn't buy him. So the following game week, I pulled the trigger. Now, the annoying thing was, for this game week, I wanted to buy Messi, and I didn't buy Messi. I didn't pull the trigger in time. I didn't buy Messi, and Messi dropped a 90-pointer. And had I have bought Messi, obviously we had a 37 point from Nkunku. Had I have bought Messi, we would have came second. I don't know what we would have won. So we missed out on a first and a second place because I didn't pull the trigger. Very frustrating. I think I bought Messi for the very next game week, though. I think I learnt my lesson. There you go. And he went and dropped a 57 pointer. I don't know who he was against because he obviously shows the Miami games now, but it was a really frustrating one because we were 25 points away from getting a tier 2 this game week. It was really annoying. It was PSG Monaco. Yeah, Messi got subbed off in the 57th minute. It was just a poor game in general. Really, really frustrating one. And yeah, like, had I have pulled the trigger a week ago for Messi, would have got an insane reward. And then the week before that for Theo, would have got an insane reward. But I didn't pull the trigger. And the funny thing about this one as well, if I remember... Oh, was it this week or was it a different... Oh, it wasn't this week. It was a different week. So there was a really funny game week. And I want to say it was game week 302. I'm going to say 302. No, it wasn't 302. Was it 304? I just thought this was a really funny game week. Was it this one? No. 306 maybe? Yes, 306. So, hilariously, someone's car alarm. Could you roll the car in peace, please? So what was really funny about this game week was we were roughly 60 points out of podium, but 50 points away from a star rare, right? The hilarious thing, Augsburg were 1-0 up against Bayern Munich. In like the 95th minute, Bayern got a corner. Kimmich whipped it in. Neuer got a head on it, and the keeper made an insane save. Is it Gikiewicz? Yeah, he had 100 points. And the keeper saved Neuer's header. And if Neuer had scored that header, we would have got a star rare this week. It was so funny because I remember watching it back. I was gutted. I didn't watch it at the time. I was at a train station. I had terrible connection, but I was absolutely gutted because we had the perfect scenario, a Neymar assist to a Messi goal, which is perfect because then people that own Mbappe playing him in Champion Europe didn't get the Mbappe points. So it was a lot less to actually win the division in this week or get high points in this week. Mbappe only scored 50 odd. But yeah, that was a gutting one. That was really gutting. So that could have been an insane game week had Neuer have scored that header. Yeah, I found that one really funny. Now, there were a couple of random game weeks as well. So, for example, Brandon Vasquez in the 301 was a really interesting game week for me too. It was the first time where I kind of tried to outsmart myself, and it worked. I used to always be focused, right, I'm going to play Champion Europe, I'm going to play this, I'm going to play that. Whereas this week, I would have usually gone out and bought another player or two to make a lineup. But instead, I was like, you know what, I've got Royf, who's got an okay matchup. I've got Mukhtar with an insane matchup. I've got Neymar and Messi with a great matchup. And I've got Theo with a good matchup. I'm actually going to play them all together. The only frustrating thing about this is that I didn't... Bro, how many times are you going to steal the damn car? The only frustrating thing about this game week specifically, right, is that Ngadju had a phenomenal game week. Now, it was so back... Here, I didn't really... So nowadays, I will always partner a goalkeeper with a outfielder, like the same outfielder, if that makes sense. So the same team. Didn't really do this back then and paid the price because Ngadju had an 88-point game against Anderlecht. And had I have played Ngadju here and he would have got an extra roughly 30 points, it would have been probably not a podium, but definitely a star rare. And I don't think I'd ever won a star rare at this point. My best had ever been a tier 1. So I was always chasing that star rare. And it was really frustrating. Until finally, obviously, my lucky stars happened when I won my first division Champion Europe rare in game week 305. It was a midweek, so we won Sadio Mane, which is a frustrating one because I feel like at a weekend we would have won a much better reward. But this was a crazy game week. So... We got 92.3 points from Theo Hernandez. We got a 79.1 points to get for Neuer. This game week didn't make sense to me a little bit because it was Bayern versus Barca, which is not a great matchup at all. And it was PSG away to Maccabi Haifa. And people kind of expecting PSG to rotate this week. People thought that Neymar wouldn't start or Messi wouldn't start. I remember sweating my balls off watching this game week specifically, watching the PSG game because it was the last game that I needed. And Neymar actually scored in the... We're going to find it. It was late. It was late on, I'll tell you that. Oh, show me here. Oh, sorry, this is the wrong game. Neymar scored very late on. We wouldn't have won the division if Neymar didn't score. We would have got a tier 1 if Neymar didn't score. But instead, Neymar scored in the 88th minute. Funnily enough, he got a yellow card right after, and I was panicking, thinking that it cost me the win. But Neymar scored in the 88th minute, and it was funny because this game week, I could have easily lost. Guy in second place had Dybala, and Dybala was not far away from catching me. So I was sweating watching that on the Thursday. But this is my first ever win. We won Mane. Ironically, the only card I didn't want to win this week was Mane because I just did not need another Champion Europe forward at the time. But we won Mane. I think he sold for about £2,200 at the time, which is amazing. Don't get me wrong. Very hard to win a card nowadays, a rare card that sells for that. I think there's like two. I think it's like Mbappe and Kimmich are the only two cards now that sell for over £2,000, I'm pretty sure. Might be wrong on that. Might be a keeper somewhere as well. I don't know. But yeah, craziness. Absolutely craziness. But my first ever win, the stars aligned, and it was again a Bayern versus Barca game that I was not expecting. I thought Lewa for sure would have done well, but Neuer kept him out. 2 big chances missed, and there you go. It was nuts. So yeah, very, very happy about that. Any other notable... Oh my god. The car alarm again. What's going on? 10th in Champion Europe Rare in game week 311. This was an interesting one as well. If I'm not mistaken, did I have Van Dijk in this one? I did. So this was really interesting because I remember buying Goretzka for this game week, just for this game week. Now, I actually also, I think, made profit on this Goretzka. Yeah, so I bought him for 1.199, won Andy Robertson and sold him 6 days later for 1.411. I made just over £200 on the card. He's £185 now. That's nuts. I made just over £200 on the card, but also won an Andy Robertson, who I also sold for. Well, I used him in a trade with Pavel, but at the time he was off about £900. Because at this time, this trade was worth 3.1k for a card that was worth like apparently 5k. It definitely wasn't, but like yeah, at the time this card was worth about £900 roughly. It's when I first started playing Champion Europe Rare Pro. Or like it was when I first stepped up to Champion Europe Rare Pro. But yeah, it was interesting. So yeah, we won ourselves Andy Robertson, and I made £200 on Goretzka. It was a fantastic game week for me. But then this was a massive turning point in my gallery. So game week 311 was like the last time I played Champion Europe Rare. Oh, sorry, game week 317 was the last time I played Champion Europe Rare. Again, another good midweek for me. I bought Theo back after trading him to Pavel. I bought another one back. And yeah, I bought Alex Romero because he had a fantastic clean sheet rate. He kept a clean sheet against Ammonia. We had Kimmich on a very average game, 11th place. We got a goalkeeper who I sold for like £900, £800, I think. £700, which, you know, great for a midweek. But that was sort of the last time I played Champion Europe Rare, because we then moved up to Rare Pro in Champion Europe and All-Star, which was very interesting. So Champion Europe Rare Pro, I stepped up, and the first thing I did was I picked up Super Rare Flecken, who I still have, and Super Rare Schuler, who I'm glad I sold because I just don't think he was... Like, he's not a bad card, but he's just not a card that I want in my gallery. That being said, he's been insane towards the back end of the season for Dortmund. But, yeah, Schuler, who had a very average game. You know, it wasn't an insane game, really, but it was okay. Almost got the triple-double, which would have been a little bit better. 51 points, it's okay. But we came 20th in Champion Europe Rare Pro. Now, the crazy thing to me is for getting 20th in Champion Europe Rare Pro with a Kim Min-jae, who was worth £900 nearly. £894. That's nuts to me looking back now, because getting 20th nowadays, like, if you got the same reward, that's only worth, like, £470. Now, it's still a lot of money, but, like... That's crazy to me, how much reward used to go for and how much cards used to go for in general. In that same game week, though, in that game week, I also played All-Star Rare Pro. Is when I debuted the 20 stack for the first time, and we got 33rd, which won a Pais who I sold for about £700 as well. So it was our first time with the Twente stack, and it was the first time ever really stepping into Rare Pro. This is where I first really significantly invested into Sorare. I bought a Cody Gakpo and a Veerman, who unfortunately both of them ended up... Well, Veerman obviously just aged out, but Cody Gakpo went to Liverpool and sadly his scores are not the same anymore. I bought a bunch of Super Rares for this as well. I had Challenger Europe Rare Pro. That lineup's crazy. Vita Van Cruy's rare, Trippier's rare. Like, it's when I first bought Trippier as well. It's when I first started really buying solid players and getting some solid advice. And yeah, All-Star Rare Pro, we came 33rd with this. I think after that we went to game week 321 where we won Adam Hlozek. Now I think this is just before I'm pretty sure this is sort of just before the World Cup. It's when I first bought Davidson, Kim Min Jae as well. I'd bought, who I still have, who at the time I bought for 3 ETH or £4,100. I will stick by this right now and say that this is one of the best purchases I've made. To be honest, I know it I just think longevity wise, this card will net me so many rewards, especially the fact that he's gone to Bayern. Now, this card has net me back 0.175 of Ethereum and almost 1.1 ETH of cards. It's won me a lot of cards. We won Hlozek, Pookie. I think we won Kimmich with this card. We did. Yeah, we've done really well with this Kim Min Jae card, and obviously he's gone to Bayern now, which is even better. So I'm hoping he's going to score phenomenally at Bayern. But yeah, Tadic. I want to see what I sold my Tadic for, actually. What did I sell my Tadic for? Oh, I used him in a trade. Davidson as well. It's when I first started preparing for the World Cup. So yeah, we did very well this game week. All-Star Rare Pro came at 17th. So yeah, overall really solid. It was a bit frustrating though. If I remember correctly, Flecken had a really good AA game. He just conceded 3, sadly. Had he not have conceded 3, we get an extra 20 points back. We're in that star territory. I remember watching the game gutted when the 3rd goal went in as well. I think it was a penalty, and I was like, it's make or break, because he either saves a penalty and we are buzzing, and if he saves a penalty, we're pushed heavily into that star territory, or he doesn't save the penalty and he didn't save the penalty. So yeah, but overall really solid game week, and yeah, we ended up winning out of that game week Hlozek, who was worth about £300-400. But that's pretty much that was pretty much my season. I've had a few really lucky rewards here and there as well. Game week 355 was a lucky one. One thing I've done that I think I've done really well is I've held on to a lot of really useful cards. So game week 355, what did we win for 354 actually? With Mably from All-Star Rare Pro. I'm just looking at this team now. It's when I first bought Danny Parejo. This was a midweek, and a really good midweek for me as well. I wasn't expecting it to be this good, because I thought Alkmaar versus Lazio is a really tough matchup. I thought USG versus Union Berlin is a really tough matchup. Little did I know, apparently there weren't tough matchups. Now, obviously, this was a high-scoring game week. 540 points to win the division's crazy. But we were very close to sort of... pushing into that 0.09 ETH territory. I was really happy with this though. I didn't watch any of the games. I was at physio, and yeah, I just realized I came 9th. So yeah, we'll take those. But yeah, like Marlon, for example, was a really lucky one. But I had a couple of really lucky ones. So Champion Europe Rare Pro in game week 355 was a good game week for me, I think. Was it? Yeah, so this week we won Bruno Guimaraes from 21st, who at the time was worth like 180, 160. I want to say maybe I'm being a bit harsh. No, I think I'm actually like pretty bang on. He's worth about 200 quid, 180 to 200 quid. Now I've held on to him and he's gone up a lot. He's now worth about £400. And I've done that quite well. Like Marlon in game week 351, I got very lucky with. Let me show you this game. Let me show you what I won Marlon with. And this is the Marlon that's just exploded recently. So he was in All-Star Rare. I came 336th in All-Star Rare. It paid down to sorry, that's All-Star Rare Pro. 389th. It paid down to 630th. This back when tier 3 was a tier 5 effectively. Bothagen with an insane AA game, 48 points after giving away a penalty. Yeah, this is what I won Marlon from. Now when I won Marlon, he was worth £20. £20, and now he's worth about 400 quid. I really should have tried. I tried to sell him at this peak, but I didn't manage to sell him at this peak. But he's worth about 400 quid now, which is crazy. So yeah, nutty. Absolutely nutty. Crazy from Marlon. Sometimes you get a lucky move and you get lucky on Sorare, so we did really well there. But that's pretty much like, I don't think there's any more significant like wins. I mean, we did really well here. Under 23 Rare Pro in game week 373. The one thing I did, so I had a gank stack for under 23 Rare Pro. Game week 373. Yeah, I had a gank stack before I went out and actually bought some good players like Zatalo and Pfeiffer. And it was just unfortunate really because gank just aren't very good. They were decent at start the season, but they just aren't very good, sadly. Now this I won Mascara from. I could have sold Mascara for about 500 quid, but I kept him and he's now worth like 200 quid. It's okay though. My best ever under 23 reward, I think with the gank stack, was in 341, I want to say. I think they were against like Sarang in 341. Was it this one? Yes, yeah. So would have been a lot better, but for some reason Cuesta got hooked off at like the 60th minute, and Carlson didn't score, unfortunately. In a 5-5 game against Utrecht, he just didn't score, which is really frustrating. He could have easily had like 2 or 3. We were 17 points away from a star as well. We wouldn't have Ertz from this. He was sold for £200, and realistically, like, yeah, the game stack just didn't really perform hugely well for me, unfortunately. We did all right in All-Star Rare Pro. I think we got a tier 2 from this, and Panseal did well in this game. But yeah, it was a tough one, really. But that's kind of it for my year review on Sorare. Yeah, I did a lot better than I thought I did, really. I've kind of punished myself and beat myself up and thought I was just terrible at Sorare. But when I look back, like I've actually not been horrific at Sorare. In terms of this week, we have a few decent lineups. I'm excited. I don't know. Like I'm in a great steam pattern. So Newell's old boys play tonight at 1:30. I'm just going to go to sleep and we'll hopefully wake up to a clean sheet. Probably won't, but we'll sort of see what happens. It could be make or break for the game week very early on. But yeah, that's kind of it for the review. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this content. Thank you all for watching. Smash a like on the video and subscribe if you're new around here. Gallery review video will be live tomorrow or the next day. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.